Okay. Ready? Yeah? Okay. Well, we are out here today saying no to war and yes to peace. And it's the violence in the Middle East now, in Israel and Palestine. It's just breaking my heart. I was in that part of the world years ago. Wonderful part of the world, wonderful people. And the war must end. Diplomacy, not bombs, is what needs to happen. So we're calling on our country, our administration, to really take more action, to tell our allies that it's time to end the war and end it right now.
All right. Well, thank you for being here and filming us. We're a small group of peace activists who want to encourage peace in the world, and we don't think that sending bombs and armaments to countries in conflict helps end those conflicts. And so we're here to say that we want diplomacy and we want fair negotiations for all parties in conflicts. We want the war the bombardment of Gaza to end. We want the people in Israel to be safe. And we want the conflict between Ukraine and Russia to be settled. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dan Poilievre. I live in Eugene. I've been here 34 years. I was last year's Green Party candidate for U.S. Senate. I just want to say that we hear a lot of rhetoric about both sides when it comes to the wars that the U.S. gets involved in. We hear that both sides have committed crimes, both sides are wrong, etc., etc. But that is not our concern because it's not our excuse. As Americans, we are responsible for the actions of only one side, the side that we have supported with billions in military aid to slowly colonize non-Western land in the interest of Western elites. We can end our part easily and quickly by withdrawing our support. We can start today by demanding this of our government, and we should start right now before Israel's disproportionate response in this war reaches the genocidal levels that it has threatened. In doing so, we will also protect our own selves and our rights against the rampant violence of our corrupt federal elites. Contact your representatives today. Tell them to sponsor legislation to end support for Zionist colonization. They won't do it, but put them on record for refusing and hold them accountable. Join the boycott, divest, and sanctions movement. Be visible and be audible, and believe in yourselves. Peace and justice can prevail. Thank you.
Right here on October 18th, 2023, our country is already embroiled in a ridiculous conflict in Ukraine, which is totally not in the interest of the American people, but as always, all these wars are always erected and conducted by some opaque figures in Washington, D.C. and New York, and indeed internationally. Small, tiny numbers of people start these wars, and we really need to wake up and, these are basically psychopaths, and they are redirecting our national resources. We're spending billions of dollars on these things, while the people here at home have unmet needs. We need health care. Every other country in the world that's at our level of industrialization has health care. I mean, there's so many obvious things. And so now this eruption in Gaza, which is the direct result of the United States funding and unconditional support of Israel for the last 75 years, without which Israel would have eventually come to peace with its, not only its neighbors, but its own population. So under the protection of the United States, Israel has been allowed to operate an apartheid state, totally discriminatory, and I might add racist, since almost all the white people, the white Jews who came from Europe and the United States, have no historical or genetic connection with the people of the Middle East. So now you've got apartheid for 75 years. You have 3 or 4 generations of young Palestinian men who are living in a context that you can't imagine. And they've been in a context of a lethal oppression and a lethal oppression by the state of Israel, their fathers and grandfathers. And so this is a context that you can't understand why they would take actions that they do. It is what it is. So the solution is either to have a one-state solution where they stopped the apartheid and let everybody vote. I mean, why is that so scary for the Jewish people of Israel to have everybody voting? I mean, why is that so scary for them? Or we could have a two-state solution. I'm fine. The two-state solution has been promoted for generations, but we need to have a solution. This business of just pressuring and oppressing the Palestinians, this shit ain't working, okay? It hasn't been working for a long time. Everybody knows this. So the United States should basically cut off its military and financial support of Israel. That's really the only action that we can take as Americans. We need to convince our government to stop supporting Israel. Sorry.
My name is Michael Williams. I want to quote Pete Davidson. My heart breaks for all the people whose lives have been destroyed.